Episode 85, back to in-person events.
Welcome to the PR Playbook Podcast, the only podcast giving you actionable skills and advice you need to execute a strategic PR program. Warning: what you hear next may lead to brand awareness and increased sales and customer exposure. Now here's your host, Rinjini Joshua.
Hello, and thank you for joining me on the PR Playbook for episode 85, going back to in-person events. I know it's been a while. We've all emerged. Maybe some of us have been to some events, some networking events. Maybe some of us are thinking about going in January. So it's been kind of a crazy whirlwind, but I wanted to give you some best practices on getting back to events because I did go back to my first event, my first real event in October. And I will tell you, I'm out of practice. And going to the out event made me realize that a lot of us are out of practice. We don't have the endurance that maybe we once had if we were traveling quite regularly. So I was traveling at least every month for an event before COVID. And going to this event, I was exhausted. So, first of all, make sure you D up. And when I say D up, get that defense, take your emergency, take your vitamins, drink that ginger tea, and make sure that as you are going to these events, you are also preparing to keep yourself safe and keep yourself healthy. Working out and exercising while you're traveling has always been a proven method of staying healthy, making sure you're drinking a lot of water. I know I sound like a mom right now. So I'm doing my mom moves, but let's go on to the PR tips. So there's some things that you definitely want to remember as you're going back to in-person events in the new year. Number one, create a show plan in advance. Now more than ever, everyone's trying to be noisy. If you have a plan going into it, I think it really helps you prepare, know what you want to get out of it, know what your goals are, and make the most of it. Put your plan in your pre-marketing schedule, and just kind of make sure that you know exactly what you want to get out of it and start planning early. So I would say like at least 1 to 2 weeks out in advance, if not 3 weeks if you can. I will say that on the media side, every show has some media. So make sure that you're checking out the website, see who's a media sponsor. So you might be able to kind of tap into that while you're at the show and see if you can meet up with some media. That's always a great way to get coverage, is to meet them in person. Number two, have options for both virtual and in-person meetings. So there are some people that don't want to get out there yet, don't feel comfortable, and that's okay. So have options for doing in-person meetings and virtual meetings. So just remember that. Have a Calendly link set up. I think that's the best way to kind of prepare and make sure that you're planning properly for these meetings in advance, whether they're in the real world or the virtual one. Make sure you are communicating early. So talk to these people before you get there. Don't just wait for the show floor to hit it. Obviously, we make some great connections while we're at these events, but if you can prep them up beforehand and kind of get on their schedule, that's probably a much better and smarter way to navigate these events as you go forward. Have some downtime, have meeting times, know what you're going to be doing every day. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's really important to have these kinds of plans. Number four, create more personalized short engagement. So make sure you're connecting with the people that you really, really want to connect with and keep it short and sweet. Obviously, we all know the Zoom world. And so you could follow up afterwards, but make sure that you get your main points across in a short and sweet meeting. If you're emailing back and forth, make sure you have a call to action. So just make sure you're like taking that extra step to becoming more personalized, either in your in-person engagement, on your online engagement, or your email engagement. And last but not least, my big rule of thumb for everything is have a follow-up plan. If you do not follow up, it will not come to fruition. It's happened to me. I am a violator of this. Sometimes I follow up a little bit late. I mean, I always follow up, but it's the sooner the better. So they remember the engagement. If you can remember tips about your experience with them, then remember that. So again, we're going to go through these 5 tips one more time. So you guys have these 5 tips as you go into these new in-person events in the new year or ending off this year. Create a show plan in advance, at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance, if you can. If not, just do it the day before you leave, but do it before you get there. Have options. Number 2, have options for both virtual and in-person meetings. So make sure you have like a calendar link set up so that you can navigate your schedule a lot easier. Number 3, share your digital assets in advance, whether it's information about your company, a fact sheet, a press kit for media, whatever it is, share it in advance so that it's already in the hands of who you want them to be in. Number 4, create short, personalized engagements. So just be more personal, know what you want, have a call to action. And number 5, have a follow-up plan, whether you're going to follow up once or follow up twice or follow up by phone or follow up by Zoom, whatever your plan is, have a plan in place. So I think the key for 2022 is have a plan, just prepare. And I think if everybody prepared in advance, then we'd all have better meetings. So make sure that you prepare in advance, you're present for the meeting, and then you follow up. Those are really just like the main nuggets I can give you, especially from a PR perspective, especially when it comes to speaking with the media. If you are going to a show and you have a brand, line your product announcements, your milestone announcements, any kind of press releases up with your show timing. That usually helps. This is a little bonus tip. That usually helps the media have a little higher sense of urgency when scheduling with you at a show, is if you have some kind of pertinent announcement to that show and relevant and timely and all those things. I hope these quick tips helped you, especially that bonus one right there. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at ronjini@thesilvertelegram.com. And thanks for joining me for this little PR Playbook bite-sized snippet of a podcast today. Talk to you soon. Bye.